Hello, Highway this week, a journey to the very heart of West Sussex to visit one of Britain's most historic places of learning. Nearly 90 years ago, pupils and teachers from a famous City of London school, dating back to medieval times, were on the move. They travelled by train to find new buildings in a lovely parkland setting near Horsham. And we've made the same journey too, and so we are arriving at the country railway station, which was built in 1902, especially for the benefit of the religious Royal and Ancient Foundation of Christ's Hospital. But don't worry, there's not a doctor or nurse in sight. We're all going back to school.
This may look awkward, but it is something over something.
While we are here, we'll be meeting some of the 800 or so scholars, including many fine, young, up-and-coming musicians and singers. Here's something else I can tell you. This school was the very first in Britain which was co-educational. But just as they were 400 years ago, the present generation at Christ's Hospital is being encouraged as they grow up to give as well as they receive. It's an idea long cherished by this old institution, proud of its past, and it encourages new hope as it looks to the future. A passing deed of pity is how the beginning of Christ's Hospital is described. Let me tell you how it happened. In 1552, the young King Edward VI heard a sermon preached by an old bishop, Nicholas Ridley, his fruitful and godly exhortation that the king be merciful to the poor. These words so moved Edward that he established 3 royal hospitals for the poor. One of them, Christ's, was to be for their education. He was helped by Richard Dobbs, Lord Mayor of London at the time. As a result, more than 260 boys and girls were to be rescued literally from the city's dunghills by Christmas in that same year of 1552. Today, Christ's Hospital still likes to think of itself as an extraordinary school for the children of ordinary people. So, money given by benefactors, as Edward VI did, still means that children from all backgrounds can be scholars here. Of the many traditions maintained here at Christ's Hospital, perhaps the most evident to the visitor is the distinctive school uniform. With me is Kieran Humphrey, who will tell us all about it.
The uniform consists of yellow stockings, breeches with more buttons on, and a full-length housey coat, which is, well, people may think that it keeps you warm in winter, but actually there's fair few places to let drafts in. It's quite chilly. And in summer it does get hot and a bit uncomfortable, but we are allowed to dispense with the coat in the hotter periods.
When did it begin?
In 1553, when the school was founded, the uniform was taken up as the usual Puritan clothing.
Now, behind us is a big statue with 4 figures around it. Who are they?
The statue is of our founder, Edward VI, and round the bottom are 4 famous Old Blues, former pupils of the school who have become great men of literature. They're Middleton, Lamb, Coleridge and Leigh Hunt. And as you can see, they're all wearing collars and cuffs and buttons like I am. But Lamb has not got the cuffs or the 14 buttons or the velvet collars, which means that he didn't become his didn't have his full status as a Grecian, which a pupil would receive when he could read and write Greek fluently. And he had a stammer, so therefore he couldn't read Greek fluently, so he wasn't allowed to have his buttons.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Which is a shame.
Now, just from this one example, can we tell where it came from?
There seems to be something going on at Christ's Hospital every hour of the day and night. And although some of it is very familiar, there's quite a lot too that isn't for those of us whose school days are in a rather dim and distant past. Hands up all those who like maths lessons. Shame on you. I must be the worst maths pupil in the history of the school I attended in Swansea. So if you like me, you should listen to this, because I've come here to meet a very special person, a very special master. He's David McLean, and he's a master of the Royal Mathematical School.
So what we've got to do is split that up into two separate fractions.
Oh, is that right?
It is indeed.
It's a closed book to me, math.
Oh, dear.
David, why is it called the Royal Mathematical School?
And it came about largely through the efforts of Samuel Pepys, who was Secretary of the Admiralty at the time. King Charles II and a lot of other people were very perturbed about what they'd seen in the Dutch wars because it had revealed an alarming scarcity of competent naval officers. So what happened was that Samuel suggested to Charles that he, the king, should form a school of 40 pupils who would be educated in mathematics with particular emphasis in navigation. So on the 19th of August, 1673, the Royal Mathematical School was founded under royal charter. And we have a number of pupils here, of course, at the moment. And they all wear a badge on their left shoulder, which shows a Christ Hospital boy being patted on the head by arithmetic, astronomy, and commerce.
Now, I've got to admit, I found maths very difficult when I was a schoolboy. Do children still find maths difficult?
One of the difficulties with mathematics really is that it's based on the real foundation. And if your foundations are weak, then it gets very difficult as you get higher up the school. And I think some children try to run before they can walk.
From the earliest days, scholars at Christ's Hospital were given not just lodging and learning, but meat and drink and officers to attend upon them. Today's catering is on a huge scale. And just before 1:30 is a time to see just how school food has improved in recent times.